You're standing in the supplement aisle. Rows of probiotic bottles line the shelf. Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, the same names that have been there for decades. And here's the thing, they might be missing the point entirely. For 30 years, the probiotic industry has been betting on bacteria that are easy to grow in labs, but a massive new study suggests the bacteria that actually matter can't be grown at all. In February 2026, researchers from Cambridge published something remarkable. They analyzed gut samples from over 11,000 people across 39 countries, and they found a hidden group of bacteria that keeps showing up in healthy people. But here's the catch. These bacteria are depleted, sometimes dramatically, in people with chronic diseases, inflammatory bowel disease, obesity, chronic fatigue syndrome, the pattern held across nearly every continent. They're called CAG-170, and you've probably never heard of them. That's not your fault. Until now, most scientists hadn't either. To understand why CAG-170 matters, you need to understand how gut bacteria have been studied for the past century. It's a story about limitations, the kind nobody talked about. The standard approach: take a stool sample, put bacteria in a petri dish, add nutrients, wait for colonies to grow. If it grows, you can study it. If it doesn't, well, you move on. This worked well enough for decades. We discovered Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, E. coli. The bacteria that thrived in laboratory conditions became the bacteria we knew. But here's the problem nobody advertised. Most gut bacteria don't grow in petri dishes. They need specific conditions: low oxygen, particular temperatures, nutrients we haven't figured out yet. By some estimates, we've only been able to culture about half of what's actually living in our guts. The rest, invisible. At least until now. The Cambridge team used a different approach. Instead of growing bacteria, they analyzed genetic signatures directly from gut samples, over 11,115 samples from 39 countries. This meta-analysis didn't rely on growing cultures. It read the DNA directly, and suddenly, bacteria that had been invisible for decades became visible. What emerged was a bacterial group called CAG-170. Not one species, but a cluster, related microbes that had been hiding in plain sight. CAG-170 bacteria were found at significantly higher levels in healthy individuals, and they were depleted, consistently, in people with inflammatory bowel disease, obesity, and chronic fatigue syndrome. The pattern held across 39 countries, different diets, different climates, different genetics, but the same bacterial signature kept appearing in the healthiest participants. And here's where it gets really interesting. These CAG-170 bacteria can produce large amounts of vitamin B12, not just a little, substantial quantities. Now, vitamin B12 is crucial for your nervous system, your energy levels, your DNA synthesis. Most people get it from animal products: meat, fish, eggs, dairy. But here's the twist that surprised the researchers. The B12 produced by CAG-170 doesn't seem to be for us directly. It's for other bacteria in the gut. The vitamin B12 produced by CAG-170 likely supports other beneficial gut bacteria rather than directly benefiting the host. These microbes help maintain balance in the broader gut ecosystem. The researchers described CAG-170 as potential keystone species, the kind of bacteria that support the health of entire microbial communities, not just themselves. Think of it like this: in any ecosystem, some species don't just survive, they make survival possible for others. Remove them, and the whole system starts to wobble. CAG-170 also carries enzymes that help break down complex carbohydrates, sugars, and dietary fibers in the gut, the stuff that feeds the broader microbial community. This is where the story connects to something practical. Complex carbohydrates, fibers, certain plant foods, these appear to be what CAG-170 bacteria thrive on. But here's the critical limitation. Most CAG-170 bacteria cannot yet be cultured in laboratory conditions. That's precisely why they've been overlooked for decades. You can't put something in a probiotic pill if you can't grow it in a factory. And we haven't figured out how to grow CAG-170 yet. The conditions are too specific, too unknown. According to the study authors, much microbiome research has focused on bacteria that can be grown and studied in the lab. But most CAG-170 bacteria cannot yet be cultured this way. This creates an awkward situation for the probiotic industry. They've been selling the same species for decades, Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, because those are the ones they can manufacture. According to Nutrition Insight, the probiotic industry has been using the same species for decades and hasn't kept pace with microbiome research discoveries like CAG-170. This doesn't mean probiotics are useless, they have their place. But this research suggests they might not contain the strains that matter most for overall gut ecosystem health. So, what does this actually mean for you? How do you nurture bacteria that can't be bought in a bottle? The researchers had some thoughts on this. The first thing worth considering, focus on feeding your existing gut bacteria rather than just adding new ones. Dietary fiber, diverse plant foods, and fermented items all support microbial diversity. Here's one practical approach. Eat a variety of fiber sources. Vegetables, legumes, whole grains, each feeds different bacterial populations. CAG-170 appears to thrive on breaking down complex carbohydrates. The study found CAG-170 bacteria carry enzymes specifically designed for breaking down complex carbohydrates, sugars, and fibers, the very nutrients found in whole plant foods. Now, there's an important caveat here. We don't yet know if CAG-170 levels cause good health, or if they're simply a marker of good health. The association is strong, but causation takes more research to prove. The study authors were careful about this distinction. Healthy people have more CAG-170. But did the bacteria make them healthy, or do healthy bodies simply create better conditions for these microbes to thrive? Given this uncertainty, here's something to consider. Gut health may be more about ecosystem balance than finding individual superstar bacteria. Diversity seems to matter more than any single strain. The Cambridge researchers noted that CAG-170 may help maintain balance within the broader gut ecosystem, acting as keystone species that support the health of other beneficial microbes. You might want to think about fermented foods differently too, not as bacteria delivery systems, but as training grounds for your existing microbiome. Kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, they introduce microbial diversity. And here's something worth remembering. Your gut microbiome isn't a problem to be solved with a single purchase. It's an ecosystem to be tended over time, through what you eat, how you live, how you manage stress. If you're dealing with chronic digestive symptoms, it may help to discuss microbiome testing with a healthcare provider. The technology is improving rapidly, and these findings suggest we'll have better tools soon. Now I want to be honest about the limitations here. This was a massive observational study. 11,115 samples is genuinely impressive, but we don't fully understand the mechanism yet. What we do know is that healthy gut ecosystems tend to share certain characteristics, and CAG-170 appears to be one reliable marker that shows up across cultures, diets, and genetic backgrounds. This research suggests one thing clearly. The probiotic supplements you see on shelves may not contain the most beneficial strains. They're one tool, not a complete solution. Here's something you could try this week. Add one new fiber source to your regular diet. Black beans, artichokes, oats. Different fibers feed different bacterial populations. Variety is the goal. And consider reducing reliance on highly processed foods when possible. These tend to feed a narrower range of gut bacteria, potentially at the expense of species like CAG-170. The practical applications of CAG-170 research are likely years away. We need to learn how to culture these bacteria before they can appear in supplements. But the direction is clear, and it's different from where the industry has been heading. The Cambridge team found these patterns across 39 countries, different diets, different lifestyles, different genetics, yet CAG-170 levels consistently correlated with health. This universality is what makes the findings so compelling. It's not about one diet or one lifestyle. It's about fundamental aspects of gut ecology that appear to transcend cultural boundaries. If you found this information helpful, consider subscribing. We explore evidence-based health topics like this every week, always looking at what the research actually says rather than what the marketing claims. The conversation about gut health is changing, removing from which probiotic should I take to how do I support the ecosystem I already have. That's a fundamental shift in thinking. And honestly, that shift puts more control in your hands. You don't need to wait for a CAG-170 supplement to exist. You can start supporting bacterial diversity with your next meal. One more thought. Be skeptical of any product claiming to contain complete gut health solutions. The science suggests our understanding is still evolving, and any company claiming otherwise isn't keeping up with the research. Remember, every person's microbiome is unique, shaped by genetics, birth method, early nutrition, antibiotic exposure, diet, stress, and dozens of other factors. What works for one person may not work identically for another. That's why consulting your doctor before making significant changes to your diet or supplement routine remains important. They can help you understand your individual situation and monitor any changes. So here's what we know from this groundbreaking study. There's a group of bacteria that science has been missing for decades. They show up consistently in healthy people across 39 countries. They produce vitamin B12 for other bacteria. They break down complex carbohydrates. They appear to be keystone species in the gut ecosystem, and we can't grow them in labs yet, which explains why your probiotic bottle doesn't contain them. For now, the best evidence suggests feeding your existing gut bacteria with diverse plant fibers, fermented foods, and a variety of whole foods. Sometimes your grandmother's advice, eat your vegetables, holds up better than the supplement industry's latest claims. This content is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making changes to your health routine. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.